scented ball.
And finally, nature got a little too close for comfort for a family in California. After checking their video doorbell, they couldn't believe what happened in their front yard. A coyote chased their pet corgi through the yard, but just as quickly as the canine scurries out of sight, the corgi flips the tables on the coyote, 30 pounds of bright orange fur taking off after a wild animal, and the coyote has not been seen again.
With intern Louie, that's this week's edition of Lola's Lowdown.
Thanks, Lola and Louie. That's true. We're almost there. Mark will be back on Monday. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. News 3 at 5 starts right now. And right now at 5, a state lawmaker plans to introduce legislation following the fatal Sun Prairie explosion.
The Wisconsin DOT says it has a solution to congested traffic on the Beltline during rush hour.
And why members
This is News 3 at 5.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. A state lawmaker is sending a message tonight that the explosion in Sun Prairie could have been prevented.
He is hoping to honor Captain Corey Barr's service and sacrifice with a new proposal. Rose Schmidt is here to explain what he's calling for. Rose?
Well, it's too early for Representative Gary Hebel to offer specifics on his plans, but he says he wants to more closely examine the construction process of digging and make sure there's more oversight. Following an investigation into the deadly explosion in Sun Prairie, police are calling for a change in state law.
It is our sincere hope that this tragedy will result in a serious evaluation of regulatory language pertaining to the responsibilities of those engaged in utility work.
That is exactly what Representative Gary Hebel is hoping to do following the tragedy on July 10th in the city he calls home.
This is something that really should not have occurred.
Hebel says next legislative session he will introduce legislation that would help make sure it never does happen again.
What I'd like to do is bring together all the stakeholders to make sure that we get all the input necessary.
Sun Prairie police say a natural gas line was not completely marked and a contractor struck that line, leading to the explosion.
It shows that there wasn't a closed loop in terms of the reporting, doing the checking of where the gas lines are and marking those lines, and then the subcontractor who does the digging come in and do that digging.
Investigators say there was a miscommunication between several companies involved in digging nearby, but that miscommunication led to several injuries, destruction of property, and the loss of Fire Captain Corey Barr.
Whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. Safety has always got to be number one, and in this case, expediency overtook safety, and as a result, we lost a wonderful firefighter, Corey Barr.
Hebel says We Energy's employees want to work with him on creating this bill, which he plans to introduce by May of next year. We Energy's told me they do not have any specifics to share at this time, but say they supported a law last year that allowed the state to enforce penalties for people who violated Diggers Hotline requirements.
Rose, thank you.
A Madison woman was arrested for having nearly 6 points of methamphetamine in her vehicle. Grant County deputies say 28-year-old Natasha Karp has been arrested and charged with 1 count of possession with intent to deliver. Deputies say they conducted a traffic stop Tuesday around 1 in the morning on Highway 151 near Paris Township. A canine officer was alerted by the odor of narcotics in the vehicle. Deputies searched and found approximately 6 pounds of methamphetamine with an estimated street value of $100,000. Court records show she appeared in Grant County Court where a $15,000 cash bond was posted.
A judge ordered the man who intentionally caused a house explosion and killed his wife to pay restitution. Stephen Pyrus pleaded guilty in April to charges in connection to killing his wife, Leanne Pyrus, and exploding his own home to cover it up. Today in court, the judge ordered Pyrus to pay restitution to the victims and Leanne Pyrus's family. Restitution was set at about $36,073. Pyrus was sentenced to life in prison with no chance at parole. Presently, he makes 5 to 19 cents an hour in prison, according to his attorney.
Let's get a check on the weather now. Dana Fulton is on the weather patio with the weekend forecast. Dana?
So we're a little cloudy outside still. And today, of course, the least amount of sunlight that we'll see for us this year. From here on out, we're going to start adding minutes back to our sunlight hours, which is kind of nice for us. Heading towards the end of the week will be just an extra minute, but you look ahead for a month from now, 33 more minutes of sunlight. And then, of course, by the time we get towards the opposite end of the scale in the middle of June, we'll get another 6 hours and 22 minutes. So I know everybody's been itching to get the sunlight back. Of course, sunset today was about 4:26. And we'll start seeing a little more sunshine, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon. Yes, right now our Doppler track is nice and calm. Again, today was a little dreary outside. We're close to 29 with our temps. It's a little cold, 32 in Janesville, 29 in Monroe as well right now, with that breeze still coming from the north-northwest. And the single digits for us in much of Dane County, picking up a little more closer to the Wisconsin-Illinois border than Janesville right now. We're getting about 14 miles per hour. It won't be too breezy overnight, but with just that little breeze, our wind chill, of course, just a little bit below our actual temperatures. It feels closer to 22 for your evening temps for your Friday. Heading into Saturday, plan on some sunshine. Yes, a variably cloudy sky with the slight chance for some flurries popping up. Temperature-wise, will be a little cool yet again, but still above the average in the mid-30s for our afternoon highs. That slight chance for some flurries is really going to linger with us towards Christmas. Overall, a fairly quiet forecast for the next few days, but we'll take a closer look at that full weekend holiday forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dana, thank you. The Department of Transportation believes it may finally have a solution to Beltline congestion.
It involves opening the shoulder to drivers. Keely Arthur is live from the Beltline right now with the details of that plan. Keely.
Well, if you live in the area, you've certainly experienced the headache that is Beltline congestion during rush hour. And the DOT thinks they have a remedy to that ailment, opening the shoulder up to drivers. According to the DOT, 17 states already use this concept. It is recognized as an environmentally responsible and cost-effective traffic management practice to alleviate congestion and improve safety. When open to drivers, they would see a green arrow above the shoulder and a red X would indicate the shoulder is off limits. The drivers we spoke to are certainly behind this.
It's kind of like space there. Why are we not using it? Yeah, that would make perfect sense to me.
I think it'll be a better solution. It'll help with a lot of the traffic flow. I think it'll actually cut down with all the heavy traffic during the rush hours.
The Department of Transportation says it will cut traffic down by 40%. Officials will talk to federal, state, and local stakeholders early next year to see if this is feasible. Now, this idea was born out of a plan, or a study rather, of the Beltline. And if this all goes to plan, drivers could be driving on the shoulder as early as 2021.
Keely Arthur reporting from the Beltline tonight. Keely, thank you.
Thank you, Keely. Janesville officials are looking for the person responsible for dumping more than a dozen windows along the city's west side. Police reported close to 15 windows being dumped in a residential area over the weekend, and city operations officials were forced to clean up the debris. Operations Superintendent Cameron Nash says it's not often people choose to dump in an area so populated.
Not an everyday thing. Usually you don't see dumping of this nature in the middle of a residential area. You'll see it along dead ends, in some more secluded areas where there's not a lot of potential witnesses.
Nash says dumping glass in areas like this can be dangerous to people in the area and urges anyone with information to contact the Janesville non-emergency line.
Members of the Janesville community are demanding answers from the YMCA of Northern Rock County.
More than 50 community leaders signed a petition sent to the board of directors today. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with what they're asking for. Adam?
Well, Susan and Charlotte, those signatures come from people who are concerned about a lack of transparency from the board of directors of the YMCA of Northern Rock County. Now, that letter sent out yesterday also has said multiple people have had their memberships revoked without warning. Paul Murphy says he's one of those people and says he's worried that if the board goes unchecked, the same thing could happen to more people.
I think there have been some average Joes who experienced what I did on December 3rd when I received an email from the executive director that my membership was being reviewed and I was not allowed to go on the YMCA property.
Murphy says he's also concerned about 3 members who were removed from the board of directors without a vote happening, something he says is directly against the laws of that organization. Now, I've made an attempt to get in touch with the CEO of the YMCA of Northern Rock County. That's Tom Denboer, but he has not returned my calls.
Adam Duxter in Janesville. Adam, thanks.
Governor-elect Tony Evers has named 4 more members of his cabinet. His choice to lead the Department of Transportation is Craig Thompson, the executive director of the Wisconsin Transportation Development Association. Evers also named Mark Afable as insurance commissioner, Rebecca Cameron Volk as chairwoman of the Public Service Commission, and Brad Paff as head of the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald said the fact that Thompson lobbied for spending more on roads is possibly inappropriate or a little out of line. All of Evers' appointees will need to be confirmed by the Republican-controlled state Senate.
UW System President Ray Cross announced a new interim chancellor at UW Whitewater. Cross says Cheryl Green will serve as the interim chancellor starting January 1st. This news comes after Beverly Copper announced Monday she would resign effective December 31st. Green has been the vice chancellor for student affairs at UW Oshkosh and has more than 25 years experience in higher education and student affairs.
The Taco Bell Cantina on State Street will be receiving its liquor license after a Dane County judge ruled in favor of the restaurant chain in a lawsuit. The restaurant was originally envisioned as a Taco Bell with a full-service liquor license before Madison Mayor Paul Soglin vetoed the license in late 2017, citing public health and safety concerns. Flynn Restaurant Group, which owns Taco Bell alongside Applebee's and Panera Bread, filed a lawsuit against Madison that following spring, claiming that the license was denied arbitrarily. The Taco Bell Cantina opened on State Street in December of 2017.
We have an update tonight on a story News 3 told you about last month. State auditors now say there is a significant deficiency in internal controls at the Department of Employee Trust Funds after work halted on a major technical overhaul. News 3 first reported that work had halted on a new online benefits system for state employees earlier this year, and ETF was not saying what the next steps would be. The state's financial report out today says there are risks posed by continuing to use the old system. Auditors also found IT risks with the state's major payroll and purchasing system, STAR, and suggested immediate improvements.
The parent company of Caribou Coffee and Bruegger's Bagels says hackers gained access to customer information at 265 of its stores in 10 states, including Wisconsin. The Minnesota-based company says the data breach occurred between August 28th and December 3rd. Caribou says it's possible that customer name and credit card information may have been taken. The company didn't say how many people may have been affected and believes the breach has been contained, but advises customers to monitor their credit card statements and credit reports. There's more to come on News 3 at 5. Up next, the fiancé of a missing mom in Colorado has been arrested in connection with her disappearance.
Plus, who President Trump is now blaming for the potential partial government shutdown.
And the Dow is down 414 points. The NASDAQ down 195 points. The S&P 500 down 51 points. We'll be right back.
Police have announced an arrest in the case of a Colorado mom missing since Thanksgiving Day.
Colorado police say they've charged Patrick Frazee with first-degree murder in the death of his missing fiancée, Kelsey Barrett. The 29-year-old mom was last seen on surveillance video at a Woodland Park supermarket with the couple's one-year-old daughter. Police say cell phone records and other data led to the arrest of the father of her child. They say her body has not yet been found and that other arrests have not been ruled out.
The federal government is inching closer to a partial government shutdown at midnight, and President Trump is blaming Democrats 1 week after he said he would be proud to shut the government down for border security. The Senate is set to vote on the House-passed measure, which gives $5 billion for a border wall and $8 billion in disaster assistance. But first, the chamber must allow the bill to come to the floor, and that vote is currently open for members still traveling back to Washington.
Now it's up to the Democrats as to whether or not we have a shutdown tonight. I hope we don't, but we're totally prepared for a very long shutdown.
President Trump, you own the shutdown. You said so in your own words.
President Trump urged leader Mitch McConnell to use the so-called nuclear option to pass the bill with a 51-vote majority, but several Republicans said they would not support such a move.
The Supreme Court says Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg had surgery to remove 2 malignant growths from her left lung. It is Ginsburg's third bout with cancer since she joined the court in 1993. The court says the 85-year-old Ginsburg had the surgery today in New York and will remain in the hospital for a few days. The court says doctors found no evidence of disease elsewhere in the body. The court says no additional treatment is planned currently. The growths were found during tests Ginsburg had after she fractured ribs in a fall on November 7th.
Dana's here now with a look at the weekend forecast. It's a big travel weekend, but at least around here, things seem to be quiet, right, Dana?
It does look like we're in for a quiet weekend for us, and much of the holiday itself for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is going to stay quiet as well. So I know some people just bopping around real quick for Christmas Day. So yes, if you're hitting the roads at all, we do have some good news. Tonight, it is going to be a little colder outside. Our sky slowly clearing up, becoming partly cloudy by tomorrow morning in the low 20s for overnight lows. We do have a flurry chance for us on Saturday, and then a little bit of sunshine possible on Sunday with partly sunny skies, and then that flurry chance again around Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. So not a big snow chance for us. Things aren't looking good for that white Christmas odds. But we are at least going to see a few flurries. Looking at our Doppler track right now, things actually very, very calm outside for us. Again, just a cloudy day. That front off to the west, not going to bring too much moisture in our direction, just that chance for flurries as we head into Saturday. Throughout the day, and then again Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So breaking down your future track, do plan on a partly cloudy sky by Saturday morning. We will be in the low 20s for our overnight lows. Throughout the day on Saturday, we start to see a mostly cloudy sky, variably cloudy in the morning, but then that chance for a few flurries is going to pop back up throughout Saturday. For Sunday, here's a little good news. Plan on a partly sunny sky. So this weekend, if you're wrapping up any last-minute Christmas things, you should be okay. Taking a bigger view here for your travel plans for Monday and Tuesday, it does look like we're going to have a little bit of a flurry chance for us late Monday. So throughout much of the day, variably cloudy skies. That flurry chance doesn't come in until late in the evening and overnight into Tuesday morning. We'll stay cloudy to start off the day on Tuesday. I don't know about you, but I was opening presents well before 8 o'clock in the morning on Christmas Day. But even at 8 o'clock, we're still looking fairly cloudy. Most of the flurry chances are expected to be out of here through the early morning, and then later in the afternoon, it does look like we'll get a little break in the clouds by sunset, and things should stay pretty quiet for us overnight Tuesday. Our next major system, though, will be sliding in for the middle of the week, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Looking back through the last several years, we did have a little bit of snowfall on the ground in 2017, quite a bit on 2016, but it looks like we're in for a repeat, unfortunately, of 2015 and 14 for our snow depth in Madison. If you want to travel quite a bit north, then you have a better chance to see a little snow. Now, that trace amount for us may add up to just a few tenths of an inch, not a blanket, but enough that it could be a little beneficial for us as far as the visual effects for Christmas Day. Temperature-wise, Christmas Day, we're looking at temps in the low 30s throughout the afternoon. Right now, downtown, it is just cloudy, but again, a quiet Friday evening for us. We hit a high of 35 today. And we should have been in the upper 20s, and that's where our overnight low was. Overnight tonight, we're going to fall a few degrees cooler in the low 20s. Planning on tomorrow being quite similar to today, variably cloudy with that chance for some flurries popping up. A bit of a breeze, only 5 to 10 miles per hour, though, and temperature-wise, again, we're almost a repeat performance in the mid-30s for afternoon highs. This weekend stays quiet in the mid-30s both days, and then for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, that flurry chance is just isolated overnight and into early Christmas morning. That system that's coming in for us Wednesday and into Thursday, it looks like the timing's backing up a little bit more Wednesday night, a little bit of a mix heading into Thursday morning. Could be a little messy out there, unfortunately, for traveling after Christmas. And then we see a big cool down heading into next weekend, the next weekend, and New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve plans, of course, could be just a little chilly outside for us heading into the start of 2019.
Can't believe it. I know, but really no big problems the whole holiday stretch.
The stretch through, yes, into the weekend,
good.
and that next chunk, it should be just fine.
All right, thanks, Dana.
Ahead at 5, a new study is calling for expectant moms and new moms to be screened often. We'll tell you why when we come back. Depression during and after pregnancy is very common, but about half of women go undiagnosed and untreated.
Now a new report is calling for expectant moms and new moms to be screened often. Dr. Malika Marshall has more.
Kristen Bowles is a mother of two. When she had her son 4 years ago, she had concerns.
Feeling a lot more panic, a lot of difficulty sleeping, a lot of difficulty being able to shut my brain off.
Kristen, a social worker, was eventually diagnosed with postpartum anxiety and prescribed medication.
As a first-time mom, I wasn't sure what thoughts were normal versus not normal.
A new report from the American Academy of Pediatrics aims to better identify mental health issues for moms before and after birth. The group recommends screening once during pregnancy and then asks pediatricians to screen moms during infant well visits up to 6 months of age.
Sadness, irritability, sleeplessness. I think the sleep deprivation that all parents experience in the first few months after birth is certainly a risk factor for postpartum depression.
The report says postpartum depression, if left untreated, can affect a child's development and cause family relationship problems. Pediatrician Michael Yogman says diagnosing depression in fathers is also important.
They may present a little differently with some different symptoms because they're not as likely to admit to sadness.
Anxiety and depression often occur together. When Kristen was pregnant with her daughter, her psychologist followed her closely. She was also screened at her baby's well visits.
Women should be talking to each other and talking to their doctors and getting connected to the right supports. That only makes you a better mom, a better woman.
She hopes reducing the stigma will help other women get the help they need. Dr. Malika Marshall, CBS News, Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Final check of the weather when we come back.
Here's a look at some of the stories we are working on tonight. We do have new reporting from the Capitol on the approaching government shutdown. Who will blink first? We're going to have more information on Ruth Bader Ginsburg's cancer surgery and Steve Hartman on the road, a family redefining home for the holidays. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Finally at 5, a surprise that you're going to want to grab some tissues for.
One little boy only wanted one thing for Christmas, his biggest hero and his big brother, a soldier in the Army who came home for the holidays, and he surprised his brother in class. And the tears, buddy, the tears, now that's gonna get me. The tears didn't stop there. He surprised his other siblings as well.
So sweet.
Look at that.
That's what it's all about. That is what it's all about. Okay.
Cute.
Okay.
Rate it in.
Nice weekend ahead.
Nice weekend, quiet weekend for any travel plans. We're in the mid-30s again Saturday and Sunday. May see some flurries tomorrow, but nothing going to accumulate for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, in the low 30s for afternoon highs.
All right, Dana, thanks.
We'll see you back here at 6.